I was working 12-hour shifts at Ethicon, and that brought me zero fulfillment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This job right now is giving me purpose, and it fulfills me, man. Like, I enjoy every day that I'm in a machine. Like you're saying, you got to suck at something to figure it out. If you just knew it right off the bat, you wouldn't be learning anything. I didn't know how to do it when I started. I'll figure that out too. And my wife kind of like stopped and looked at me. She's like, "What do you mean you didn't know?" I was like, well, how hard could it be to pull a tree out of the ground? You know, like make sure you get the roots and figure it out.
That's how you do anything. Is you start small. Like even, you know, I watched Mythbusters a lot growing up, and Adam Savage from Mythbusters always said, if you want to get into a hobby, buy the cheapest tools you can find, and when they break, buy the most expensive one you can afford.
Yeah, like Mason said, you've been burning the candle at both ends with a blowtorch for the last 10 years. Like, yeah, buddy, no wonder I don't sleep worth a dang, you know?
Yeah.
So, over-caffeinated is on point, too. I've already had my 3 cups of coffee, so if you see my legs shaking, that's just because I'm not moving.
I feel like that's the only way to survive whenever you have, because there's so many pieces of a business that you just like always have to monitor.
Man, and when you run yourself thin, I mean, that's like your only hope.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that or turn to drugs, and we're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that.
Nope.
So,
looking at the competition that was around me, I'm not trying to dog anybody, but they were kind of phasing out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting to where they've been in business long enough where they're just kind of picking and choosing.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if I can go get established here within 5-6 years, I'll be a good name for this business in this area.
Today I have Kris Strube. He is owner of Strube Land Services, where they specialize in doing site prep and land clearing of all kinds of scales. They also do some other stuff on top of that, but that's kind of their bread and butter. We talk about owning a business, talk about West Texas a bit, talk about fatherhood and the I can figure it out gene that's crucial in order to making things happen. So it was a blast. Thank you, Kris, for coming on the podcast. Do me a favor and stick around to the end of the episode. You know, if you liked it, like, comment, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. It actually is helpful, and you actually do need to be reminded. So that's why I do it every time. So let's get into it. I came up with a name for the podcast.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's I think I just broke the entire thing. The slightly over-caffeinated, mildly unqualified chronicles of West Texas commerce and other grand delusions of self-employment.
That is on point. I like it.
So this took a stupid long amount of time to make this morning, but I was like, you know what? I just ran with it.
Hell yeah, hang that thing up somewhere.
For sure.
So I've already had my 3 cups of coffee, so if you see my legs shaking, that's just because I'm not moving.
So I feel like that's the only way to survive whenever you have, because there's so many pieces of a business that you just like always have to monitor.
Man, and when you run yourself thin, I mean, that's like your only hope.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that or turn to drugs, and we're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that.
Nope.
So,
but
caffeine's the only drug.
Caffeine is a way of life. It pulses through the veins, that's for certain.
Oh, for sure. I know everybody I talk to who's a business owner is the same way.
Yeah.
And it's just like if one thing falls through the cracks, it can be pretty detrimental.
Yeah.
So like you just have to be on point 8, 10, 12 hours a day.
Yep. It doesn't end. Even when you get home, you're like, all right. And your brain's still running, and you're like, what did I get accomplished today, and what am I after tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah, our family does highs and lows at the end of the day when we sit down and do dinner. When we sit down and do dinner, a lot of times the movie's playing at the same time.
Yeah.
Anytime it's like, what did I do today? Like, I can't even think. And like the highs, like my 6-year-old doesn't care.
Right.
That I had a good like conversation with the potential lead. Like,
exactly.
Like,
yeah. My boys are 4 and 5, and all they care about is, can I come run the dozer today? Can we come sit with you in the dozer or the excavator?
Yeah. This room's the coolest, probably looking part of my business. Otherwise, it's sitting at a desk editing video content. So it's like,
it's not all sex appeal. That's for sure. I mean, the dozer looks great, the excavator looks great, and you know when they're clean and spiffed up, and then you get in it and you sit in that thing for 10 hours or 12 hours a day, and you're like, doesn't look that good from in here anymore. I was so excited to buy this thing, and now I'm glued to it. But
I have that same love-hate relationship with cameras. Like, I have my workhorse, which is like this kind of big camera over here. Like, built it out, got like all the good gear for it and stuff, and like, when I pick it up and it feels nice, you're like, all right, this is sick. And then if I've been carrying it for 8 hours, I'm like, I will throw this in the dumpster right now because I'm so tired of holding this. And I over-engineer it every time, so it's like way too heavy.
Yeah.
It's like I always see video guys with like giant biceps, and I always thought they just like also worked out.
Nope, they're carrying this stuff around all the time. Yeah,
it's necessary.
Yep.
Well, I know part of your story that you were working at Ethicon as a mechanic, right? Mm-hmm. And then you kind of started this business on the side. How long ago was it that you started?
About in 2023, after like, I guess about this time, 2023, in July, August, October, whatever, something like that. I was running a ranch close by Junction for 4 years before that on my off days. Nice. So I've been, like Mason said, you've been burning the candle at both ends with a blowtorch for the last 10 years. Like, yeah, buddy, no wonder I don't sleep worth a dang, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we started this in 2023. I always refer to we. I mean, it's me. But
yeah,
it's because I've had my nephew with me since day one. You know, he's always been kind of hooked up with me no matter what I'm doing. So I always refer to this as we.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You also sound like a bigger company if you say we. Like, oh yeah, we can take care of that for
better.
you.
Yeah, we got you covered.
I'll get my designer on it. It's like, it's me.
Don't worry, brother. Our team will show up, and then here I am with a shovel. Like, here's our team.
Yeah.
But the hunting business was good. That's like my biggest passion is to hunt. And so I was running that ranch and guiding and, you know, taking care of the feed and all the animals. And I like love that. That's what I would have done if it paid, you know. But also, you don't have a family life if you're a good guide, in my opinion. Other people that do this for a living are going to disagree with me. But, I mean, your home life is minimal because all your clients come on the weekends. So your clients show up Thursday, and then they leave Sunday. And then the rest of the week, you're prepping for Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
So you're home, and if you're trying to really track down a certain deer you want killed or something, you're out there all the time looking for him. The hunting and guiding and all of that was fun, and I loved every bit of it, but had them boys pop up, and it's time to try and bring it back home, which is what I wanted to be at anyway. And went back to kind of what did I really enjoy other than hunting, and I love machines. I was a crane operator for a couple of years, and in college I worked at Abilene, New Holland. I was servicing all the machines. I hauled the machinery and put together all the implements and stuff like that. So I've kind of always been tied in with machines, and I was like, yeah, I'll figure out how to make this work. And so kind of started going down the rabbit hole of that and looking at the competition that was around me. I'm not trying to dog anybody, but they were kind of phasing out a little bit. You know, they're getting to where they've been in business long enough where they're just kind of picking and choosing. And I was like, man, if I can go get established here within 5-6 years, I'll be a good name for this business in this area, because there's not a whole lot of it going back home. So,
well, I mean, in West Texas, it's crucial, you know, when it comes to anybody who buys anything larger than an acre. Like, at least an acre is going to be mesquite, which is our case. Like, we spent so much time. We got 2 acres kind of like out by the Coliseum, and we spent so much time like cutting down trees. We had some guys who were supposed to put in like check our septic system at one point, and ended up like not needing, like, we just needed a small like black water tank for like our sink or something like that. And they're like, well, we have this dozer. I was like, hey, I need some trees taken out. Can you just run over them? And they're like, yeah, sure.
Of course. Yeah.
And it was like extremely affordable. I mean, they already had the equipment there. It was, without that, like, we would have twice as much mesquite all over the place.
And even like you're saying, you know, we do everything from half acre, the site prep, kind of like what you're talking about. Somebody will go buy like a lot that's been raw for a while, and they're like, we need to clean this up because we're going to put a house or a barn or whatever on it, or we're going to put our pens and hold our horses here. Sure. And then you got to go in there and get that. So site prep is kind of one of our bread and butters. That's how we started, with that little skid loader and clearing the stuff like that. Now, luckily, we've kind of gotten some traction and we're growing. And you saw we came out on that 100-acre job, and now we're headed to a 1,000-acre parcel. We're going to be doing 230 acres off of it. So
that, I mean, bigger and bigger.
No, that's the goal, is to have the big equipment running and the skid loader and the other small equipment staying busy on their own stuff with the smaller jobs. And as long as all of them, I can keep somebody in the seat, you know, we're off to the races. It's hard not to make money. If you keep those machines busy, you make money.
Yeah.
You're going to break down. That's just part of it. And you got to eat that when it comes. But the guys that I have, and like I say that, my nephew, I had another guy that made it about a week and a half. And then he was like, yeah. He was like, I'll see you later, man. I'm out. And I was like, all right.
It's too tough.
Yeah, no, thanks. No, he had he's really mechanically inclined. He's a good buddy of mine, and he's going to take off on another business adventure.
Gotcha.
I have no idea what it is, but sounded good to him at the moment,
Yeah.
I guess. And then something else sounded better real fast. So, but,
That can happen. I mean, that's how I started my business. I was working at a media company, and like something happens when you have kids as a guy. You're just like, oh crap, I got to build something. I got to like, especially in the economy we have today where it's like you can't just have the Homer Simpson like work a job and like everything's fine, like house and 2 cars, the whole 9 yards. I was working at a media company, kind of learned a little bit on the job, like as far as video production, because like my degrees, I joke I have an arts and crafts degree. It's a graphic design, like fine arts degree. So I literally played with cardboard for one of my classes. It was great. Like I was like scraps of cardboard everywhere for my homework. It was weird. But I kind of learned on the job the video side and was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I have some ideas of different business models, different retainer products, things like that. And just realized that I'm a bad employee because like I want too much too quickly, and like I have ideas and I'm like, I think this would be great, we should experiment, and it's like, it's not my company,
right?
Like I can't be upset when somebody's like, I mean, no. I'm like, okay, cool.
The guy we're doing his job for him that you came out and filmed, he has his own trucking business, and he's got all kinds of other little side pieces that do this and this. He has a sand plant, you know, and like provides sand to Atmos, and is it Atmos? Yeah. And all this stuff, and he said the same exact words the other day. He's like, I would make a terrible employee. And then his wife's sitting in the truck. She goes, you are a terrible employee.
That's great. Yeah, that I feel like that's kind of a common path. I mean, I even ran into
Clay Schaefer.
He was just like the day we met out at your site, he happened to be touring the building.
Oh yeah,
and came in here and like was talking. He was like, "Yeah, I worked at Ethicon." I was like, "Hang on a sec, do you know Kris?"
He was right on the other, like there's several different floors in that place, but I was on the front end and he was on the back end. Yeah, both mechanics.
Yeah, so it seems like Ethicon's kind of breeding entrepreneurs right now.
It dang sure makes you want to find something, that's for sure. And the place, there's a lot of people that are, you know, they're content as can be over there doing that, and they like the, you know, the safety net of like that paycheck will be there every week, especially at a Johnson & Johnson company, and then the work's not going away. But you can't put me in walls, man. I got to be outside. And I had one window where I was down in the basement. I had one window where I could look at the gravel right beside the sidewalk. And then, so, I was climbing the walls for 8 years in that place. And so, and I'd tell my wife and my dad and everybody, I had to go find something. And my wife was all for it. She was like, as long as it makes sense. If it makes money, it makes sense, like, cool. And what was funny was when I started this business, like, I've ran machinery. You know, I haven't gone and shot stuff to grade and put dirt and packed it and all that. But if I could put my hands on it, I can learn anything. I've always been that way. And so we're sitting there drinking beer on the porch one afternoon with my buddy, and I don't know what we were talking about. Or something. I was like, I don't know. I didn't know how to do it when I started. I'll figure that out too. And my wife kind of like stopped and looked at me. And she's like, what do you mean you didn't know? I was like, well, how hard could it be to pull a tree out of the ground? You know, like make sure you get the roots and figure it out. And she was like, you've never done this before? I was like, well, I've ran machinery. And she was just like dumbfounded, like, you started this business and you had I wasn't grubbing and doing stuff for somebody else. Like I was like, I can afford this piece of equipment. I'll have it make me some money. And it kind of just really dove in with the idea of it. And the beginning was tough. And about 2-3 months into it, was already about bankrupt. But people don't pay you, and all of a sudden you're like, well, thank God I actually planned ahead a little bit. Then just jump completely off the deep end. But
cash is oxygen. Like that's the only way you keep things rolling.
And right now we're in a government shutdown. And all these jobs that I'm doing are government-funded projects.
Really?
So,
oh man.
Which, I mean, like I said, I've got my head above water at the moment. It can all change on a dime, but waiting on the government to come back out of shutdown so the employees can come back out from the NRCS and come sign off on the jobs that I'm doing. And then that way the landowner gets paid and then I get paid. So
that's interesting. I assumed it was like a lot of just like some guy owned land and like paid you cash for it, but you said there's like some kind of mix with government funding as well.
So a lot of the customers, yeah, they got plenty of money. Like you go and give them a bid, and they're like, "Oh, that's it." And you're like,
Actually, yeah. If you want the premium service.
I told this lady the other day, I said, "Ma'am, I don't mean to be rude. I'm not being a smart ass or nothing." I said, "But we are in a complete different tax bracket."
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a FSA office and the NRCS office. FSA is kind of more towards the farming side of it, ag side. And then the NRCS is more like to reclaim your pasture land, to try and get native grasses growing back out there and improve it for wildlife and grazing and all things kind of surrounding that. So they'll give you grants to improve your water wells out there or put a water well out there. And they'll pay you not all of it, but take some sting out of it.
Yeah.
And so with the land clearing, you tell them I want to clear a certain amount of acreage, and they'll come out and you put in an application, and it takes a while. Sometimes you get lucky and they'll pull your grant and be like, yeah, let's go over this, and we'll sit down and fine print it all out, and then we'll sign it off, and then they'll approve you for X amount of dollars an acre to come out there and clear it, and then they'll help with the reseeding of it to put it back into a certain native grassland. And I think they have like a certain type of seed that they have to use, but I could be wrong there too.
You know people who know this information, but do you feel like that's pretty common knowledge?
Oh, yeah. No, I wouldn't say common knowledge. I mean, there's a lot of people that miss out on it. These people I used to work for way back in the day when I think before I could even drive, they have a deer nursery, or had a deer nursery, and they would take all these fawns from these big high fence ranches and raise them from 0 to 90 days and then kick them back out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was kind of fun. The hell, some of them would even have horns before they left.
Oh, really?
Like they were studs. Yeah, they were sitting there bottle feeding $5,000 baby deer. You know, it is nuts. And I told them, like, this is gonna sting. It's overgrown as crap, and they shredded it beforehand. So when you shred a mesquite, it just comes back angry. It's deceiving because the plant might only be 5 or 6 foot tall, but the root system that thing has is like, you're not going to get that with a skid loader. Like, you have to bring your big equipment. And so I told them, yeah, this is going to sting. I said, have y'all gone to the NRCS office? And they're like, well, what for? I said, yeah, go put it in and have them come out. And the NRCS office will come out and measure everything, and they'll label it either light, medium, or heavy. And that will depend on, like how much money they're willing to give you per acre.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that clip alone, like, might help other people understand, like, if you got a situation that there might be some funding out there for that. Now, I'm 2 acres for residential, like, we're probably screwed. But
I have no idea. I don't know what their minimum is. I don't know what classifies it to be considered, like, for the NRCS. I don't know a lot about that. I know that they have plenty of avenues to go try, and it's definitely worth a talk with any kind of NRCS agent here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just took my mower through the back acre and just made racetracks for my kid to run through all the time.
Yeah.
That's as good as it gets back there typically.
But they have all kinds of stuff to help out with.
That's cool. Like, I've had ideas of, like, this would be a cool video to make. I bet there's a grant for, like, a nonprofit to make that video.
that kid, I call him a kid. He's my age, if not older. JD Nava, he was always telling me, like, yeah, I got this grant for this. I got that. I'm like, where are you finding all these things? Because I would dang sure like some money.
Man, as ChatGPT gets better and better, like, that's something that I've gone through and been like, hey, can you apply for these grants for me? And in the past, it's like, you got to make an account, you got to do all this stuff. But it's getting better and better to where I've had it, like, set up my CRM for me. I logged into a virtual browser and it, like, went in and, like, built everything, which is nuts.
Yeah, that's and that stuff to me, I mean, that's non-existent to me because I'm not very savvy with technology. I make phone calls and I look at Facebook. And then I got my emails on my phone. And that's about the 3 things that I hit.
Yeah.
You know, I had a company call me and they were oil and gas industry. And they're like, hey, we want you to come out and clear this 80 acres or whatever. And I was like, easy peasy. And no, not easy peasy. Yeah, I don't know. Well, oil and gas always has, like the amount of insurance they require, all the safety stuff you had to. So I was sitting there with that ChatGPT writing out safety, like, programs, and I wasn't writing it. I was like, write me a safety program that's up to grade with OSHA standards and for this specific topic, and it would write it all out, and then I would print it out, look at my nephew, read this and sign it. That way we've gone through the training, you know? And so it was all kind. They had a list of, like, certain requirements you had to meet. fire extinguisher training, just all kinds of.
Wow.
It was a bunch, and not to boot, but the $14 million worth of insurance you had to carry. I said, well, I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I think a lot of that, I understand the precaution, and I understand the industry and how they're like, we're not.
It's always a liability. Everything's legal out there.
Yeah.
And it's like you could blink the wrong way or get a piece of sand fly in your eye, and then they're getting sued.
Yeah.
You know, so it is like, yep, all your PPE, this, your muster site, this, and like, you know, where you're going to meet at, you're only allowed here at this time. But yeah, and like even while you're in your machines, you have to have your hard hat on, your safety toe boots, blah, 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 all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm not even going to set foot outside.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, be sure to watch out for all the rattlesnakes out here too. And I'm like, well, duh, we're in Texas. But that Chat GPT is definitely something that's, I need to utilize a little bit more.
Well, and like you did it the right way and being like, I need this, here's the context for it, I need it to like say these things, and like you double check it. Where like a lot of people are like, write me a video, and it's like, what's your video about, who's your audience? It's like there's so much detail. Like the people who are really pro at it, they'll like use the voice feature or like the voice to text feature. They'll talk for like 10 minutes talking about what they're doing, the full extent, because the more information it has, the more dialed in it can be. And then you add an aspect of creativity in there too. It's like, all right, write the video as Hulk Hogan, like saying it, and then you just put on a fake mustache. Like you got to find some like creative angle to things a lot of times, but then it can do a lot, you know, to help with that creative. It's just like the input has to be quality in order to have the output be quality. Well, tell me a little bit about the scope of different jobs that you typically do, and like maybe even what you're wanting to get into a little bit too.
So, I mean, 90% of what we do is land clearing. And, you know, I guess you could call it site prep in a way, but going and getting the, you know, the trees, roots, brush, small brush, and whether it requires haul off or not, it's better when you get to just burn it, you know. So residential, you have to do the haul off, whatever. But so land clearing, site prep, the other 10% is made up of driveways and demolition. And I love demolition. There ain't got to be anything pretty about demolition until you're right before you roll off. Then you go out, you know, if you have to bring in some backfill or anything like that and just smooth it all out, make it nice and pretty. But I love demolition. You go out to get to take your machine, just start side swiping everything, tearing it all apart. And then, you have to take it, break it all up, put it in a trailer, and get it out of there. So I love demolition. The site prep is fine. You can do it with the small machinery. It takes a lot less. You know, your overhead's way less. And then, but the land clearing is our bread and butter. That's what we cater to the most, and that's what we get the calls for the most. And taking the big equipment, like you saw the excavator and the dozer out there, and just getting work. That's pretty much what I want to have. You know, I'm not a huge fan of dirt work. It's a lot more money in the dirt work, but I guess the perfection of it, not that don't like to have it right when I'm done, because it's going to be right when we leave. It's just the amount of junk that goes into it, and the shooting grade and all that other stuff, and keeping it level, making sure you're high enough for water runoff and erosion control and all that other stuff that actually goes into the thought process of it. I just like to be simple, you know what I mean? Like, take this and go get that tree out and make sure you grab the roots. It's very simple. So that I would like to see that, and where I would be having a good crew running this job, and then having the 2 skid steers or whatever else running site prep jobs or smaller stuff. Where I'm at right now, if that would just stay consistent, I'd be good, you know? Just keeping the machines busy. We're still fairly new, so getting the traction that I would like to have, it's coming. Our name's getting out there finally, and we're getting these jobs. So just keeping what we're doing right now busy and consistent, like, that's good.
That's great. Yeah. And you started it as kind of like on the side while you were at Ethicon, right? How long ago was it that you
We started July of 2023 is when I officially created my business. But I didn't buy that piece of equipment till October 2023, and I went and, you know, had to get jobs lined up before I just go buying a $80,000 piece of equipment, you know.
Makes sense. I did the same thing with, you know, talking to some friends who like wanted to do that kind of content or do a podcast or something like that, and like figured that out. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I had a gig that was like in New York City that was like following a vlogger around for 3 days, which is like the wildest. It was like one of my first gigs. It was like the wildest thing, and ended up renting the equipment because if I bought the equipment, it wasn't going to arrive on time, but the rental arrived sooner.
Yeah.
So I was like running around New York with like rented equipment. I bought the insurance on it just in case.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of a wild scenario. But yeah, you have to line up like, okay, let me prove this concept.
Right.
And then I'll drop,
Well, at least have yourself a plan. You know what I mean? Jumping into something with these kind of investments, like if you just jump into it, man, it almost seems like you're just bound to fail.
Yeah. You got to think it through.
Yeah. You got to at least have a little bit of prep to what you're going after, especially if you're going to make it like your business and that's your lifeline. Renting equipment is a double-edged sword. You might only need it for X amount of time, but it is costly.
Really?
Oh, good Lord.
Way more than like buying the equipment.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, quadruple it. What
Really?
you pay a month.
Man.
Yeah.
I feel like you getting into the equipment rental business might be
Yeah, no joke, right?
And pay for itself pretty quick.
Yeah, and then there's another double-edged sword. The people you rent out to.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have them sign all that stuff because they're going to go tear through it.
Yeah.
We used to get them back when I worked at New Holland. We used to get them back. They would rent them out for a year to an oil field company. They'd come back. They'd just be hopping along. Like,
Really?
Oh, they were horrible.
Oh, man.
It was like pretty much just make them functional, clear the codes, and send them to auction because they're not good enough to resell to somebody with your face on it. Send them to auction, yeah.
That checks out. One thing that you said earlier that I really liked was, sitting on the porch and being like, I'll figure it out.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like, I feel like if you have that, I can figure it out gene, like you have such a huge advantage in life. Yeah.
But it's always been, I've had a throng of different jobs. I've butchered stuff. I've ran sheep through the kill floor, stuff like that. And then I've worked the construction and I've laid tile and I've been a crane operator and, now I was a ranch manager and then now I'm doing this. So like anything I can actually physically go do. I was a horrible student, sitting in a classroom. I don't learn that way. My wife can read something and she gets it. Maybe that's why she's a doctor and I'm in heavy equipment construction, right? Yeah, if I can put my hands on it, I'll get it.
Yeah.
And like same with the Ethicon job, being a mechanic. I never dreamed in my life I'd be a mechanic. But a good friend of mine, good family friend, called and was like, hey, we have an opening. Would you want to come do this? Like, yeah, dude, I'm doing construction right now. I'm not making very good money. I'll give anything a try.
Yeah.
And went up there and like you walk into that place, it will intimidate the crap out of you. Those machines look like they're from outer space. They have 1,000 moving parts on them and they all get measured in the thousands. And it's very, very particular, and they can get off track real fast. They can get off track on that side and mess up something over here.
Yeah.
And it's like chasing it all down. So you're looking and you're like, how in the hell does anybody ever learn this? Give it time.
Yeah.
Put my hands on it and start understanding something and get a good idea. And I took a lot away from that job as far as helping me be mechanically inclined for when my equipment now, even though it's not in the same category, if this is a fuel and gas machine and this one's pneumatic and robotic, but being able to look at something and like track it back down to the issue or whatever, like I took a lot away from that job.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, all the different jobs. I feel like, as somebody who grew up playing instruments instead of like building things as much or trying different art mediums and like trying a bunch of different stuff, I feel like going from zero to competent in something several times, I think that also like reinforces that I can figure it out.
Yeah.
Gene. I think that builds a lot of confidence, which is one thing I'm trying to teach my kids a lot is like, don't say you can't do it. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Like be bad at it.
Right.
Like you have to be bad at it before you're good at it. So just be bad.
Yeah. I got the 5-year-old, they go through their waves or whatever of their emotions and how they act for a set amount of time, whatever, they go through their little phases. Where he's in kindergarten, and so we're going through all this sight words and going through this and sounding things out and blah blah blah, and he'll just throw himself backwards, and I'm like, come on, man, like it's not bad, like it's all right, like you gotta, like you're saying, you gotta suck at something to figure it out. If you just knew it right off the bat, you wouldn't be learning anything, so don't have a bad attitude. Come back over here, we'll keep trying.
Anytime I see, like, I'm chronically on TikTok, I should be on it less, but anytime I see, some 20-year-olds like, hey, I'm going to be turning 25, like, what lessons have you learned from people who are like in their 30s or something? And I'm like, try as many things as you possibly can and fail at as many things as you possibly can. That way you learn, one, you didn't die.
Yeah.
You were embarrassed for a minute, and then everybody else is too worried about themselves to even notice that you failed.
Yeah.
And then also like all of these really weird, like you tried underwater basket weaving, and then you tried, you know, you tried construction, and then you tried music, and you started a band, you started a podcast. Like all these things like end up kind of like weaving together into like this really weird like quilt of like interests and skills that you can like apply to something.
And then like you say you go out and you try all these things, it will lead you to what brings you like purpose and joy and fulfillment. And that's kind of same thing on all of my tasks leading up to this. Like this job right now is giving me purpose, and it fulfills me, man. Like I enjoy every day that I'm in a machine. Like I was talking trash about being in it for 10 or 12 hours. Like, yeah, but I was working 12-hour shifts at Ethicon, and that brought me zero fulfillment. You know what I mean? So everything that you go and, like you're saying, go try something, go fail at it, go see if you like it, and go see if it brings you anything. Like, and it'll dang sure lead you to where you're supposed to be. If it's not that, it'll lead you, keep going you down the road. So
I feel like that's great advice. I think any young person who's like, or even if you're in your 30s like us, like if you just feel stuck, like just try some stuff. Like the internet's out there. I've graduated from YouTube University so many times. Like figured out how to convert an RV into a Sprinter van, figured out how to fix a washing machine, figure out whatever, you know, get my old John Deere riding mower back to life. Like I am not mechanically inclined, but thankfully it's a simple machine. You know, I'm not fixing like a 2025 like Honda or something, right? It's impossible, but that kind of stuff, I feel like there's just so much value in figuring it out. And like not being afraid of figuring it out.
And that's one thing I do want to instill to my boys is like, and I heard it somewhere, and it's like, find whatever you love and then figure out a way to make it or make you money, however you say it, you know. But like I was always like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like I didn't have a clue. It always had something to do with wildlife and hunting, you know, but that didn't make me money. So but it was on to the next one, you know. And I do love machinery. I love running equipment. That's always been a big deal. Even when I was just going and working one over after the mechanics would get done, they'd say, go sit in this for an hour and run the crap out of it. I'm like, okay. And I'd sit at a dirt pile for an hour or 2 hours, just moving dirt from here to there, here to there, here to there, back and forth. And like having fun. You know, and it's just the same thing. Like I didn't grow up, I just got bigger toys. That's all it is now. I got some big ass equipment that I get to go play in the dirt with.
I mean, I have a bunch of Lego sets around here for a very specific reason. It's because I have not grown up at all. And like that's a whole thing now. Like people make money just, you know, doing Lego content. And
you
things
do
like
have a massive equipment, man. I'll give you that. You got the investment going on. I have a friend that hunts with me. He's from West Virginia, and they have a TV show.
Oh, really?
And when he comes down here to Texas to hunt with me, I'm like, good Lord, look at all that. It takes us 30 minutes once we get in the blind. We have to leave so early just to set all this stuff up before, you know, it's time to start being quiet. And it's the same. I know you understand that concept because you got so much more going on than he does. He's gotten it figured out a little bit more to the GoPros and the smaller equipment that still shoots good. For the most part, we're bow hunting, so it only has to see. It's not like we're looking at something 200 yards away.
Right.
But
that's cool, though.
Oh, yeah. That's when you're like, hey, you want to come do a podcast? Heck yeah, I like this stuff. It's like, because I help him all the time. Well, I've been on TV with him a little bit, but I'm normally the film guy when he comes down. You know, his wife will come with him every now and again. She hadn't been down in a couple of years. She needs to come kill something for sure. But he's always like, you ready to go? I'm like, hell yeah, man, I'm ready to go. Come get me. Like, let's go sit in a blind. So I've been running with him for a few years. Last 5 or 6 years, he's hunted with me.
That's really fun.
Filmed some stuff and things like that. So
he put that like on YouTube or something, or is
he's got it. He's on the Outdoor Channel, I think, for your TV.
Oh, okay.
So they're pretty decent. I mean, they've been around for a while. They've been hunting. I can't remember. I'd be lying. It's like 13, 15 years they've had this show, I think.
That's pretty cool. What's his name?
Ted Nestor and Amber Nestor, and their show is The Chase with Ted and Amber.
That's cool.
And they're out of West Virginia. He comes down here, hunts with me, hunts with a bunch of other people, and then, you know, he goes to Ohio. He goes all over the place. So he's got it made. He sells weld tests. So, like, the people that come out and certify your welds, he sells that to big people like oil field companies and everything else. And so he's like, oh, I got to drive down to Texas for a week. Well, he just brings all his hunting equipment, and he goes to Midland, Odessa, and then he'll go to New Mexico, Carlsbad, New Mexico, and then he comes back and he'll hunt with me a couple of days.
That's great.
Yeah, and then he dips on down to like Comfort area. He'll hunt over there. He'll hunt in Ozona, just wherever. But he's got it figured out. So like he has to leave for a business trip. Well, it gets to turn into a hunting trip. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
well, then he has the excuse. He was like, "Oh, I got to make the content, man. I got to film this. Like, what are you gonna do?"
And so last year, bow season, which is now, and it started last week. Well, it's still 90 degrees in the afternoon. So you're sitting in a box blind. It's 115 degrees in this blind, and we sat there last year and we made redneck AC units. We took 2 little igloo coolers, drilled a hole, and hot glued a fan to one side and had a port coming out the other one, so it'd blow cold air in and out, know. And we were sitting in the blind just holding these little coolers, blowing right into our faces, waiting on it. So, yeah, we always do something fun when he comes around.
That's really fun. I love that kind of stuff. I grew up here in San Angelo, but I never did hunting. I never went hunting or anything like that. Just wasn't in my family or like my circle at all. I was always like just church stuff.
Well, and like it's kind of funny because hell, I don't even think my dad's ever shot a big deer. Like he's shot some little bucks throughout his life, but like we lived on deer for a while. You know, that's what we went out and hunted to eat. You know, and so he got me into it. And he's not a big hunter. But boy, I ran with it. It grasped my attention, and off to the races we go. And so now everything, when it comes around to hunting season, it's slowed down now because I got kids in a business. Yeah. And but before we had kids, she knew when deer season come around and varmint season too, because we're big predator hunters. And she knew once it got cold, like, oh, cool, nice, it's cold. I'll see you later, as I was going, man. Any free time I had, I was hunting.
Man, I feel like one of the things I've always thought, because we have a little bit more land. Before we were living like Paul Land, had like a little, not a postage stamp lot, but it was pretty small. It's like maybe 1/4 acre. Yeah. Now we have 2. It's like, now I'm looking at, well, I can't do any kind of shooting range out there, but getting a bow and arrow would be a blast. I'll have to like get your recommendation on what to get, because like I don't need anything fancy, but just something for like target practice.
Yeah, hell, they sell like a fully decked out bow. Bear sells they're kind of like the starter bows, and it's bear archery, and they'll come with your rest and your sight on it. I don't think they sell the release, but everything you need for a bow to be functional and shoot it, like the Bear will sell it as a kit, and they're pretty dang affordable compared to how deep you can get it, which you can do that with anything now, but they're like $400-$500 for the whole thing. Oh, okay. And then just go get you some cheaper arrows. You ain't got to go buy the Victory arrows that are $20 a pop by the time you put them all together.
Jeez.
And hell, I even got a whole bunch of spare arrows sitting at the house. You ever get into it, let me know. I'll rig it. I got extra releases and stuff like that too. So
that's fun.
Yeah, but no, it's fun. Like sit out there with your buddies shooting. Always sitting there, which I don't know how y'all spend y'all's free time. Our free time always involves a cold drink or two, but.
Yeah.
So sitting there, shooting the shit, drinking beer with your buddies that's down home like I can picture. But
no, soccer is what we're doing right now. Yeah. It's like on the weekends, it's soccer games and stuff for my 6-year-old boy. He's homeschooled right now, so like we needed an activity. Right. And like they do a lot of co-op stuff. Like last night, they were riding bikes around the Red Arroyo Trail, and then went to Rose's afterwards and hung out. We all hung out, which was fun. But Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday, it's like, okay, let's go do soccer. Surprised at how much I yelled during a kid's soccer game. I did not expect to be
no,
pay attention.
Yeah, I didn't play baseball at all growing up. I did, like, pony league or whatever you would call it, but I didn't play ball in high school or nothing. I ran track instead. But my nephew was pretty decent at baseball, and then here we go, chasing him around the dang state.
Oh, man.
He getting picked up
travel ball teams.
Yeah, travel balls and
man.
Select leagues, and it's like the kid never quit playing baseball.
That's crazy.
And then we chased him around for those 6 years, all over the place watching baseball. And so I was like, I'm enjoying the break we have right now with little kids that I'm not chasing around with sports yet.
Like, you're going to give him a fair shake, right? Yeah. But that's not 99%. You see how tall I am. My wife's shorter, so we breed like horse jockeys and Formula One drivers. We do not breed basketball
you
players.
Get this kid a go-kart for that racetrack.
He has a little 4-wheel drive, like Power Wheels, like Jeep, that it's dying and it's getting a little too small for him now. But he did that for a while, and I'm like, hey, go-kart's not too far off.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of the dirt bikes a little bit because he's just so reckless, but his sister's more reckless than he is. But
I'm 5'8" on a good day. My wife's like 5'5", 5'6" or something. My mom's 5'4", and then my dad's 6 foot. My wife's dad's 6 foot. Her brothers are over 6 foot. Wow. We took our little one, so we took him into the doctor a while back, and he's this stout little stocky kid, and the doctor's like, oh yeah, he's gonna be over 6 foot, and I'm like,
oh no,
you dang liar, you're so full of it. He said you'll be over 6 foot, and I'm like, I hope it skipped over and they got it. That would be great. I'd love some tall kids. I'm not gonna be sitting there wanting to cuss their butt looking up.
I gotta stay pretty fit so I can take them down.
They turn 16 and they're like, what you gonna do about it, boy?
A good leg sweep gets you pretty far. All right. I've never fought anybody, but I've watched enough movies. So I'm like, I could probably figure it out.
Element of surprise, buddy.
Kids are a blast. That's like the reason why I have, this business at all. It's like, first I started with my son, and he's 6 now. My daughter's 3. She's about to be 4 in like a couple months. But I was like, I got to figure something out. Went back to finish my degree. I took a 10-year break, finished my degree. I was like, this will do it. Like, nope, that didn't do it. Then had my daughter, and I'm like, crap, now I got to build something.
Yeah.
Things just haven't slowed down. Things get more expensive every week.
And it's, you kind of look at it, and I've told my parents, what we bring in a year. And that was last year. That was my first full year. And I told them what I made. And then my wife's a doctor, and she makes good money.
Yeah.
And he was like, y'all make this and what? I said, well, dude, what? That's like barely getting by now. Crazy. Still keeps us very, very, very middle class.
I know.
And it's
growing
hard.
up, I was like, man, if I make $100,000, I'm balling. And now I'm like, I can get by on $100,000.
I'm scraping, which that's the amount of payments you have like per person with the business. Running this kind of business isn't cheap, and I have to reiterate it to my wife all the time. There ain't nothing about this cheap.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. Buying one of those machines, it's not cheap. Holding the insurance for all this stuff, not cheap either.
Yeah.
And like everything else that comes along with it for you to be proficient in it and like able to go do the job, and when you have the right tools for the job, it makes the job easy and profitable.
Trust me, I know. I've worked with a crappy camera setup before, and the back end of it, like you get in your hands like, okay, I got a good deal on this, I skimped out a little bit, maybe it was a drone or something, it's like it'll be fine. Man, if you would have gone a step up, like your life on the back end would have been so much easier. Editing or, actually running the job or whatever.
That was like when we started, it was just with the skid steer, and that skid steer did everything. It grubbed trees, it moved dirt, it was a bulldozer, it was this, it was that, and that poor thing's all beat up. But it did the job, but that was like, now we have the right equipment that does all this stuff. Because, I picked up probably a 5,000-pound oak tree stump.
Wow.
And then I've also got one of an old, not a mulberry tree. Man. I dug that thing out of the ground with the skid loader, and the root ball was taller than the skid loader, and the roots coming off of it were still the size of trees,
Goodness.
I worked that thing for 2 hours digging that thing out of there. And it was like that poor machine had a hell of a day. And so it's finally getting a breather. It's getting to sit for a little bit and take a rest. But it did everything at the start. Now we have the right equipment, and going to accomplish a job and do it the right way makes life real easy.
Well, that's how you do anything, is you start small. Like even, I watched Mythbusters a lot growing up. And Adam Savage from Mythbusters always said, if you want to get into a hobby, buy the cheapest tools you can find. And when they break, buy the most expensive one you can afford. Yeah. And that's been pretty great advice through and through for me. I'm ADHD. I think a lot of business owners, the hit rate for ADHD is pretty high.
It's like, hey, all those kids that couldn't sit still in class, how's your business going? I laugh every time I see that. I'm like, it's going.
There's a lot of us, but you get into so many different interests. But the same thing works for business. It's like you start off with the minimum viable product, they call it in the tech world. Start with a skid loader, start with a camera. I started with one halfway decent FX30 camera and Sony camera, and it's not the most expensive thing, but it's good enough. It's a workhorse. And I've made my money back on that so many times over. It's tempting to upgrade, but I'm also like,
sentimental, man. I'm horrible, and that's everybody I hear is like, you can't be sentimental in a business world. Or running a business, you get sentimental, it'll bite you. And that's the camera like that. not necessarily like I can't get rid of this piece of equipment and it's hindering me from doing a good job. But yeah, getting sentimental is like my truck, that thing has 424,000 miles on it. And I'm like, they're going to bury me in this bad boy. It has helped me. So I had it for a long time. It's helped me start my business.
Yeah.
It limps. I mean, that poor thing, it's got every dash light on. But it got me here this morning, and it still pulls 20,000 pounds like it's not supposed to be back there. So
reliability, man.
Yeah.
You know,
you
when
can't beat that.
You find one of those, you keep it.
It's like, my wife, she was telling me, like, you going to get you a new truck? Like, I'm going to go get us a haul truck. But I'm keeping this one.
Yeah.
No. Like if she goes,
even if it has to sit in the barn,
it will be in the driveway. Yeah. Trust me. And I don't care if it's sitting on the rims. It's going to be in the driveway.
That's why I got my Tacoma, because I was like, my kid in 10 years, he's going to be about my size. He doesn't need a big truck anyway. It's like he could drive that. Like you could put plenty of miles on that Toyota.
Yeah, them Toyotas last forever. You take care of them.
Oh yeah, there's some that hit like a Tundra that had like 1 million miles on it. They like made a whole thing about it, and then he like got a new one, like put another 1 million miles on that one too. Yeah, that poor guy drives too much. Well, man, I feel like, you know, from one entrepreneur to another, it seems like you're doing a lot right. It's not easy, you know, to play this game, but it's rewarding.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're going to get into it to just do a half-assed job, then I don't think you're going to survive, obviously. You know, it'll get out there. You might be good for a few years, you know, and then word will get around and it'll catch back up to you. We have nothing but 5-star reviews, and it's for a reason. And I will tell my customers, like, we aren't going to leave until you are happy. Yeah. And, like, we have stuck to that time and time again, and, you know, it's starting to show. So, yeah, we have a guy gave me, I think, in my opinion, the best review I've gotten here recently. I've gone out to his job or his home and land out in Eden a couple of times, and he brings us back every year to keep going and do some more. And I told him, I said, here, you know, leave us a review, and that was last year. And then he was talking to me the other day, and he said, hey, did you find anybody to tint your machine? I got a few tractors I want tinted. So I ain't telling you who it is till you leave me a dang review. You still ain't done it yet. And he finally left me one, and it said, you know that saying, you get what you pay for? You don't get that with these guys. You get much more and then some.
I saw that review,
was like,
actually.
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in my work and my name, my last name especially, the Strube name. It means a lot to me. And so if I'm going to be going out there and plastering it all over the place, it's going to have a good reputation with it. And, we hold to it, you know, and even if it bites us in the butt in some cases, which it definitely has, we stay there and I'll eat that bill. But we're going to do it the right way. And we're going to do it to where you're happy that you used us, you know. So
no, I think people overcomplicate reputation a lot of times in brand, which brand is just reputation. It's like if you just like do what you say you're going to do, do the best of your ability, be honest all the way through, treat people with respect, like you can get pretty far.
Communication is a big part of it. Communication before the project, through the duration of the project, and then sitting with them afterwards for 5, 10, whatever minutes, even after your guys have pulled off with the equipment, sitting there and like, all right, like you're satisfied, you know, and making sure that we hit that mark. Yeah. That's like I said, I do take a lot of pride in what we do and like what I get looked at or what this business will be looked at. And it's not gonna be like, well, yeah, they might do good work, but I don't ever want there to be a but in there. Yeah. You know.
How can people get a hold of you? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you email or phone number you prefer?
Yeah, I have the Strube Land Services Facebook page. It should have our link to our website on there. I have a website, same thing, strubelandservices.com. And you can go on there. It has a little pre-fill out that it'll send me an email. You fill it out with a little bit of your information. It'll send it to me. I'll get in contact with you. My phone number is 325-718-8195.
Awesome, man.
I always answer a call. I say always, if not, leave me a voicemail. Because if you don't leave me a voicemail, I think you're a spammer. I get like 10 spam calls a day. Oh, man. Good Lord. And everybody, you open a business, they want, oh, do you need help promoting this?
Your Google listing.
Are you on Yelp? Yeah, we can improve your website in a couple ways. And I'm like, listen, man, leave me a voicemail, please. Yeah. If you call and I don't answer, because there's a lot of job sites we don't have good service. It's spotty as crap. But if you leave a voicemail, I can guarantee you'll hear back from me. Yeah. So not that way I know you're real.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I've missed some calls because they don't leave a voicemail, and it looks like a spam number.
Oh yeah, especially people come in from out of town and stuff, and like it's not the same area code, whatever, and it's like it can throw up a red flag when it's like it's just a person.
The weirdest spam that I dealt with were people were using like real addresses here and sending me pictures of like there's a stump on this side that I want taken out. They weren't real. Like these, because I would go and like, okay, and then it would get to the payment side of it, and I was like, you need to send your deposit. And then it started getting real fishy. But I had like the first year I was really running and looking at stuff, I ran all over the place to look at things. And
what advantage is there into like like wasting your time? Or
I think
what?
so. You would try and call them and talk to them, and it didn't sound like anybody from around here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
And so
you got farmed out to something.
And there was a bunch of them and I finally started telling them they always want to send the payment through PayPal or something like that. Absolutely not. I don't do Venmo, PayPal, or anything, even if I see you face to face.
Yeah.
You can either give me cash or write me a check. That's the two ways I accept payment, or a wire straight to the bank. That's it. But for the most part, it's check and cash. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for hanging out. This was a blast. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. If you like this episode, whatever this podcast is called, the slightly over-caffeinated, mildly underqualified Chronicles of West Texas Commerce and Other Grand Delusions of Self-Employment. I tried to memorize that, but I couldn't do it.
It didn't take some time. You get a year saying that, you'll have it down to a T.
Yeah, thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time. Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it.
That was fun.
Heck yeah, man. I finally quit sweating about 10 minutes in.
Thanks for sticking around and watching. It was a blast to talk to Kris. There will be more content like this coming pretty soon. I am getting a bank of podcast episodes together before I officially launch so that I have a little bit of a buffer. So you will probably see weekly episodes at least coming out, and it'll look a little bit different every time because I'm always experimenting and trying to improve the process. I'm happy to experiment on my own brand and trying to figure this kind of stuff out. Thanks for watching, and do me a favor and leave a comment about your favorite part. Maybe you want to also get into bow hunting like me, which would be a blast. If you want to start an amateur bow hunting group, shoot me a message. I'm just kidding. Give me a comment, give me a like, save the video if you found it useful. If you'll subscribe to the channel, you'll get notified, and hit the bell. You'll get notified that I'm releasing stuff. We'll see you next time.